Good morning. Japa and Dhyana are two different but complementary ways of using mantra. With dhyana, or meditation on mantra, you follow the mantra inward to its silent, formless meaning. For example, if you're doing Soham mantra with breath as meditation, you internally, mentally may inhale slowly internally with So, and you exhale internally with Hum. And as a word, Soham means I am that. What is that? That is pure consciousness. That is the absolute reality. So the mantra is leading you to the awareness of being that essence called that. So inhale with So and exhale with Hum. It's done internally and silently. Om is a symbol of all of the levels of reality, the totality. We talk Om Tat Sat. So if you're sitting with meditation and you internally inhale with Om and you exhale internally with the Om, you're allowing that Om to lead you to an expansive awareness of that infinity that is symbolized by the Om. This is dhyana, or meditation on mantra. Japa means remembrance or repetition. It starts with repetition. It's like when you hear a piece of music on the radio for the first time. You hear it and you're taking it in, you're assimilating it. And then before you know it, you're internally sort of remembering or singing the song. It goes on in your own mind. And this is sort of what you do with japa. You start possibly by memorizing the mantra and repeating it. This is called japa. And it's two different ways. Here's a way of holding the idea of japa. Think of a water glass, a clear glass, and imagine that glass is filled with ink. Just plain old like writing pen ink. Imagine it's filled with ink. And over here you have a little dropper, like a bottle with a little squeeze thing and a little dropper, and it's clear water. And you take one drop of that and you drop it into the top of the glass of ink. And then you put another drop of clear water in. It takes a considerable amount of time and a lot of drops of water, but gradually, eventually, what will happen will, with the many drops of clear water, will cause the glass of ink to overflow, and eventually what will be in the glass is a glass of clear water. The ink will overflow. So mantra japa, some of the mantra japas will have the long-term effect of purifying the mind of attractions, aversions, and fears. It can sound nice and sweet, but the other side of it is it can be a little disconcerting because it causes to come forward those attractions, aversions, and fear. It can be a little bit of a bumpy ride. How do you do japa? A little bit every day is very useful. One thing we do here at the ashram, it's an extremely useful thing to do, is to start your day with some mantras that you like, remembering some mantras in a japa way, and end your day with some mantras like that, whatever the mantras are. And that's a nice thing to do. A longer practice, just as an example, you may do a mantra and you say, I'm going to remember this mantra so many times. 108 times is the number of beads that is on a standard mala. So you may repeat, a mala and roll a bead. You may say, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namaha Namam, nothing is mine, Shivaya, the absolute reality. You may do that 108 times on a mala bead. You may start your day with a mala of that. you may do a longer practice. You set aside 40 days. You say, I'm going to do a certain number of this mantra every day for 40 days. Just you do it and you observe the effect. You start to internalize it. At the other end of the spectrum, some long practices called, a long practice is called sometimes a Purascharna. A very long practice is called a Mahapurascharna. Mahapurascharnas are usually done by people who are wanting to follow the path of renunciation, whether that is formally being a Swami or formally taking an initiation on the path of renunciation, or more like a stage of life where children are grown and left home and it's retirement time and there's more time available. For example, a Mahapurascharna of Gayatri, you can take your calculator and do the arithmetic on it. Om Bhur Swa Tatsavato Vrenyam Bhago Devasa Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Traditionally done internally, silently, not out loud the way that I just did it. You can take the time and do the arithmetic on that, but the Mahapurascharna of Gayatri, which is traditionally done by renunciates, swamis, along the way to their initiation in Swami orders, is 2.4 million repetitions, which if you're counting on a mala is 24,000 malas. You can do the arithmetic with your calculator, but it takes, in rough numbers, just to pull a number, there's not a rule on the number, but it takes about 5,000 hours to do that number of Gayatri. And it has sweet effect, bringing the awareness of consciousness and light and all. It has a sweet effect like that, but it's kind of bittersweet. The bitter side is that it can cause a lot of old crap to come forward, and it can be a bit of a struggle to go through that. But anyway, so there is japa of mantra done to different degrees with different mantras, and there is dhyana or meditation on mantra. And they're complementary. It's useful to do both. In its simplest version, the idea is start your day with some japa and end your day with some japa. It's a nice way to begin and end a day, and use mantra, allowing it to lead you into deep silence, like with Soham or with Om. There are not many mantras there's only a few that really work well with the breath internally for meditation. This is one of the reasons we talk a lot about Om and Soham. So anyway, know the difference, and if you play with it, experiment with it yourself, you'll find that having both of them in your life is a very useful thing. Okay, so thank you for visiting. If this is your morning like it is mine, have a wonderful day. If it's the end of your day, have a nice rest so that you can get up fresh and start your day with japa and dhyana. And remember, what's it all about? Om Tat Sat. Om Tat Sat. That alone is reality. Om. Bye-bye.